Meanwhile, what is the White House saying about the revelations from Trump's former doctor about his health records and claims Trump associates raided his office?
Well, the White House is pushing back strongly against that. Let me get to that in just a second. But there's a new allegation that's been raised by Bornstein. And that allegation, we haven't heard from the White House on this yet, is that the statement that Bornstein put out about the president's health during the campaign was dictated to him by President Trump. Bornstein wrote, "If elected, Mr. Trump, I can state unequivocally, will be the healthiest individual ever elected to the presidency." In an interview, Bornstein says that he dictated that whole letter. I didn't write that letter. I just made it up as I went along. The White House also pushing back against the claims that Bornstein leveled against Keith Schiller, the president's former head of security and former director of Oval Office operations, and Alan Garten, Trump Organization attorney, that in February, a couple of days after Bornstein had revealed that the president was taking Propecia to combat hair loss, he revealed that to the New York Times, that Schiller and Garten came in and raided his office, taking all of the president's records. The White House pushing back against that yesterday, saying, look, there was no raid, and it's protocol for a president's personal physician to turn records over to the White House medical unit. Listen here.
As is standard operating procedure for a new president, the White House medical unit took possession of the president's medical records.
Again, nothing from the White House yet in this latest allegation that the president dictated that health report, but we'll keep digging. Sandra?
John Roberts, thank you.
For more on this, I want to bring in Byron New York now, chief political correspondent, Washington Examiner, Fox News contributor, who is also in excellent health. Are you not, Byron?
Good morning, Bill. Feeling great.
Here's part of your new piece. Your headline says this: Democrats in the Trump impeachment trap. You say there are 49 questions reported, but if you sit down for an interview, the questions could be unlimited, Byron.
Absolutely. This is not just a list of 49 questions. It's a list of 49 topics. Each question could lead to lots and lots of other questions. For example, when did you, Mr. Trump, first hear about the Trump Tower meeting from June 2006? Do you think they just want a date? They're going to say, well, who told you? What did they say? Who did they tell you would be involved? What did they say came as a result of that? I mean, that single question could lead to many, many follow-up questions, which could actually open up even other questions. And one former prosecutor said these questions could easily lead to a 2-day interview.
Oh, my gosh. Well, I think you negotiate that up front. Let's see how that goes. There is a political calculus in all of this. Quinnipiac put out a poll, right on screen. It said Democrats 71% favor pursuing some sort of impeachment against President Trump. How does Nancy Pelosi address that?
That is a big number, and it makes Democratic leaders very uncomfortable because, as you can see, the 71% is much higher than support for impeachment in the general electorate. And we're heading into midterm elections in which Democrats want to be elected. The situation could be a little similar to 2006. If you remember, George W. Bush was in his second term. The Iraq War was going disastrously. Bush's approval rating was well below what Trump's are today. And there were some Democrats who were talking about impeaching George W. Bush if they won control of the House. Nancy Pelosi was worried that it would damage Democrats' electoral chances, and she said in May of 2006, quote, impeachment is off the table.
Well,
and
come
of
back
course
to
she
this.
went on to win.
Yeah, come back to this whole idea about questions. Rush Limbaugh's got an idea if you can negotiate it appropriately, but then he suggests a double standard. He said this, watch.
If Trump could secure the same identical circumstances that were granted to Hillary Clinton, then why not sit down for the interview and answer the questions? But of course, I speak facetiously because everybody knows that Donald Trump is not going to get the Hillary Clinton treatment extended by James Comey.
What about that, Byron?
Well, this is something you hear a lot among Republicans who feel there's a huge disparity in the treatment of President Trump and the Hillary Clinton investigation, saying, you know, maybe Trump would agree to talk if he knows that Mueller has already written the exoneration memo, as James Comey began writing months before Hillary Clinton was interviewed. But it is a fact, Hillary Clinton was interviewed on July 2nd. Remember, it was over the 4th of July weekend, and that the next Tuesday, next business day, James Comey came out and announced there would be no charges against her. An exoneration memo was begun well before any of those interviews, and a lot of Republicans are going to be saying, wow, that's really different treatment from what Donald Trump is getting from the Mueller office.
A lot of ways to slice this, isn't there? Wow, every day.
Yep.
Thank you, sir. Nice to see you. Byron
Thank you,
York,
Bill.
Byron York in Washington.